On Sunday, the 19th of October 2025, I got word that Virginia Lillye lost her 2-year battle with cancer. Virginia was a powerhouse on stage, but more so a beacon of hope and positivity off it, which makes it that little bit more difficult to believe that she's no longer with us. In tribute, I want to share with you the parts of her life that she shared with me for this podcast. She made a couple of appearances on the show, the first one being in September 2020, which that conversation became episode 98 of the Gig Life podcast. The second time was in 2021 when she shared 4 gig stories, which 2 of them featured in the A Few Gig Tales series. I'm going to play all of that in its entirety today. First up is the 2020 interview, and directly after that is all 4 of her gig stories, so stick around right to the end. For those of you that knew her, I hope you get comfort from hearing her voice again. And for those of you who didn't, her spirit is well and truly alive here. Her infectious laugh, her knack of telling a great story, and, of course, her positivity. We have lost a true giant. Rest in love, Virginia Lillye. My guest today is Virginia Lillye. Explosive and dynamic vocalist Virginia Lillye has wooed audiences across Australia and internationally. Having shared the stage with Gene Simmons, Gilby Clarke, Angry Anderson, Steve Balby, John Butler, Dan Sultan, JPY, Paul Gray, John English, Wendy Matthews, Grace Knight, Phil Emmanuel, to name just a few, she is a force to be reckoned with. Having also lived in Europe for 11 years, Virginia appeared in productions of the musicals Cats, Grease, Hair, Fame, Jesus Christ Superstar, and The Life. Virginia's original rock band Lillye signed with American record label Eclipse Records and released their debut album Evolve worldwide in 2018. The band have won several awards internationally and were nominated for Best Rock Artist and Best Hardcore Metal Artist at the Australian Independent Music Awards. Virginia starred in the recent series of The Voice Australia by bringing her rock chick edge and grit to the show. This one's been a long time coming. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise the metal horns for the insatiable Virginia Lillye. All right, I think we're rolling. Virginia Lillye, welcome to the Gig Life. Welcome to the Gig Life podcast.
Thank you so much. Long time coming.
Yes. So we actually had a date booked to do this November 2019, and you had a gig come up, so we had to postpone it. And here we are now, September 2020. What a year!
Yeah,
wow.
Nearly a year later. How's that?
I know, it's all good. I guess
good things comes to those who wait.
Yeah, that's it. So it's been quite a year. Obviously, the COVID thing. You were in a unique situation where you actually got to do a TV show during COVID and got to see both sides of it, like a studio full of people and then a studio with no one, basically. So that I had Joel Burton on the podcast a little while back, and he spoke about what it was like as one of the musicians to see that.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, we'll talk more about The Voice a little bit later, but that's. I just thought I'd start with that. What was
a good place to start.
Mm.
It's it was bizarre. Of all the years that I decided to do it,
Yeah.
it had to be the worst year to do it. But no, look, it was a bizarre. The show in itself is bizarre enough. You live in a bubble. You're in this studio. environment for hours on end, and you don't, you have really no recognition of what's going on in the day or how they're going to edit anything. And so
right.
you do get caught up in this bubble. So it was kind of like being a bubble within a bubble this time. Kudos to the actual production team to continue the show going. There was at one point there where they were considering to not do the show anymore and, pursue it the next year. So they had like a plan A right through to D, and I think they went somewhere in between B and C.
Right.
So yeah, we did have some sort of, they did their best to create an audience of some sort. So it was a bunch of friends and family got asked to do little videos of them cheering and clapping and carrying on. And then they had like this video screen up around the studio with like a Zoom sort of environment. So it had all these little squares of all these people clapping and cheering. Which,
did they dial in live? Were they watching it live? Through the Zoom?
Live. Pre-recorded it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know they're pre-recorded, but I mean, were those people on the Zoom screens? Were they actually watching you perform, or that was pre-recorded and then played?
That's what I mean. That was pre-recorded.
Okay. Oh, right.
Yeah, so it wasn't literally, dial in and you can watch it live.
Yeah.
It was
right.
That would have been a logistical nightmare. But
yeah, I reckon.
So they pre-planned all that. So everybody, as I said, sent I think it was about a 30-second video or something, and then they just put it all together and gave us some sort of audience to feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
But yeah, the vibe was completely different. That's quite clear to understand. When you've got a pumping crowd, you obviously feed off that energy, and that's basically what our job is, isn't it? It's just like this recycle of energy. So yeah, to be just bounced off a red chair and four coaches and a wall full of pretend cheering crowds. It was a real cold environment. So it was tough, it was psychologically, it was trying to get into that zone with all the outside experience going on, outside of the studio. So it was quite difficult. And because also it was like thrown into lockdown, and then, so you've been inside four walls for some time, and then you go into this studio and it's kind of like, oh, that's right, we're doing a TV show here. So yeah, it was bizarre. It was cold, but hey, look, they pulled through. I know myself and a lot of the guys on the show did have a different vibe going on personally to perform to their best capacity.
Yep.
But we did what we could, and it went ahead. So that's great, especially in those times, because really there wasn't anything else to do. So it was quite fortunate. That they did keep going.
Yeah, well, that's that unique situation.
Yeah, and having said that, it's like it's 1 minute 30 seconds of a song that you sing.
Right.
And obviously you do have just runs and mic runs and a lot of sound checks and whatnot. But it literally is 1 minute 30 just to go ta-da,
yeah.
and then crawl back out of your bubble and into another bubble.
Yeah. What I was thinking about today, contestants on the show definitely use the show and the profile as a platform to take your solo career, or in your case, your band, to that other level. You can book some gigs and that kind of stuff. Now, with the COVID thing and there not being gigs, it seems like, from my side of it, you guys have missed out on an opportunity to really make the most of that profile at the time. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%. The whole reason for doing the show is to build that public profile. There's no cheaper PR than going on a show like that and getting, millions of viewers. But yeah, that's why it was the worst year to do it, because it's really hard to capitalize on that, because nothing is going on outside of the voice world. So yeah, look, I've been back to my normal gigs. I've been very fortunate to have a few dribs and drabs of gigs, but nothing that I can sort of, use the show to boost anything,
Right.
which was one of the reasons for doing the show. So it's a little annoying, but look, it is what it is. And I think you have to, I reached out to a lot of people, different managers and booking agents and stuff like that. So I think, it was a good time to actually just jump on the horse and get moving with it yourself, because nothing was going to move without that. So, good year.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess like everybody's in the same boat. So when the time comes, maybe you can all be launching and pushing yourself together. Just as a little bit delayed. People are not going to forget who you are. That's for sure.
That's right. That's it. It's such a memorable year because of the whole pandemic. So a few people have had shows. Like we all went and saw Chris Sebastian's show on Sunday. And the weekend before that, we went and saw Timothy's show. I went and saw a Steve Kilsby show. Masha's got a show going on. So, and what's his name? Johnny's got a show going on. So everyone's doing their little bits and pieces. It's just, it's a little bit delayed, and hopefully by by the next season, we won't be forgotten.
What else? What else have you been doing with your time during COVID? I just want to speak a little bit on COVID, and then we'll move away from it because,
Yeah, sure, totally. Look, it's it's testing time for all, and I think like everybody, they had all these plans to go down avenues that they never really had time for before. One of those for me was learning Spanish, and I still can't speak Spanish. But I had good intentions.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I actually, I was busy writing for Lillye, so we've been working on the new album. So I had lots of time to just focus on that. I got right into exercising. Still didn't lose any weight though, because I was eating just as much as I was exercising. Cheers.
Oh, shocking.
I should go get one, actually.
Yeah, go. Hey, please, if you want to go get one. Absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, look. Totally funny.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yes.
Hey.
People can't see we're both drinking Carlton Draft from different parts of Sydney. Cheers.
That's right.
Tink.
Cheers for that.
Yeah.
So, the same as everybody. I was just trying to work out what the hell was going on and trying to work out, how to survive financially. I had a couple of singing students via Zoom, but obviously that wasn't enough to get me through. So thankfully, JobKeeper kept me alive. Still is keeping me alive now.
Yep.
All those little things. And I did heaps of drawings as well. I forgot about that too. I was just trying to be creative in other ways and watching a little bit too much Netflix, probably.
Yeah. All right. Let's roll back now. Let's go right back to where it all began and your early days and childhood and all that sort of stuff. So your mother and father are musicians, am I right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first thing I want to ask, your last name Lillye, so it's spelled Lillye. Now, Now, what is the what's the word I'm looking for? I was trying to think of this word today and it eluded me. The
origin?
Yes, thank you. Can I ask that question again? So, what are the origins? No, I'm gonna keep that in there. It makes me sound like an idiot. Yeah, what is it? What are the origins of Lillye spelled Lillye?
Yeah, so it's actually French. So on my dad's side, my grandfather obviously was French. So I think it's supposed to have the little apostrophe on the E, and when everyone, got down to Australia, it just became Lillye. It got really slack and picked up that Aussie lingo very quickly.
Lillye.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where that comes from.
Cool. All right. So back to mum and dad, musicians. So you want to talk a little bit about them and the influence and.
Yeah, sure. So, sorry, you just cut out a little bit then.
Oh, I did. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just said talk a little bit about mum and dad and what their musical influence was on you, and maybe what sort of stuff that they were listening to, and what they were into music wise.
Sure. Yeah. So my mum was a singer, dancer, choreographer, director. She's pretty much done everything. She has her own music school today, and my dad was a bass player. He was with Warren Carr, and so there was a Warren Carr trio, which was Don Fleischman on drums, Warren Carr on piano, and my dad on bass. So yeah, my dad and mum met doing club shows, and I pretty much was just carted around from gig to gig. Apparently, I was a very good baby. I stayed up late and slept in.
Yeah.
So that's very, very handy for them.
That's the best.
Yes. So I always say I blame them for all my late night habits.
Yeah.
So yeah, they used to just, as musicians do, I guess, with kids, especially in those days, there was no one around to babysit or whatever. So yeah, I used to sit in a bassinet side of the stage, sucking away on a pacifier, just taking it all in. And yeah, it's always been around. Music is always around my family. There's, my grandmother and my grandfather were always the type of family to get around the piano at the end of dinner. Everyone would be singing songs and taking turns on the piano, and it'd always be, your standard stuff, your Beatles and things like that. And they were very Catholic driven as well. So it was a lot of hymns and a lot of organ playing, which is another reason why I'm like, late night person. No. So yeah, it was always around me, like my uncles play, my brother plays, my other uncles, my auntie was a dance teacher and was hugely successful with Highland dancing, actually, Scottish dancing. So, it's just every kind of facet of show business was there. It was dancing, it was singing, it was acting, it was this and that. And yeah, I kind of, I started dancing straight away, I think quite young, about 3 or 4, straight into dance classes and singing. I was in the choir at school. Did my first recording actually when with the school choir, the Santa Maria del Monte school choir, when I was about 7, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the whole entire world. I was like, I want a record. And that song was actually How Much Is That Doggy in the Window?
Oh, classic. Classic.
And I just loved it, I just thought it was so cool, the whole studio experience and all that. And I just, it was a combination. My mum was right into musical theatre and my dad was right into big band stuff. So as well as the Warren Carr Trio, he did a lot of conducting for big bands with horn sections and corporate stuff in Asia and things like this. So he was right into, Chicago and Earth, Wind and Fire and, all these great bands. So a lot of bossa nova, a lot of, Chick Corea and a huge, massive influence of Chaka Khan and Aretha Franklin and listening to that, and then having the musical theatre side of things as well. It was like I knew every word to every musical, like Oklahoma and Any Get You Gun and all these classics.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I was very lucky, very, very lucky to grow up around all that. And my mum teaches at home and her students would be, going away in the lounge room. She used to teach piano and singing. So just hearing the scales over and over and over, from my bedroom. I could, rattle off which key it was in or stuff like that. And that was just from listening. I'm actually really disappointed that my mum was always, trying to sit me down and do my exams for piano. And I think I only got to third grade, and then I was like, just a little shit, really, going, I don't want to learn from my mum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't need lessons. I don't need lessons. Yeah.
I definitely needed lessons. It's just that I wasn't listening to my mum.
To your mum, yeah.
So, and then, grew up with a dancing school that were very heavily into shopping centre shows and fashion parades, and, got the agent and did the commercial thing, and did my first singing essay, I think, when I was probably around 7 or 8, I think the same time that I recorded with the school choir. It was some singing essay, I have no idea which one it was, but Mum said, do you want to go in it? And I said, yeah, I want to go in it. Of course I want to go in it. And she's like, okay, what are you going to sing? And I was like, I'm going to sing How Much Is That Doggy in the Window? And she's like, oh, no, I don't think so. And I was like, yeah, but I really want to do it. I really like that song. And she was great like that. She always, allowed me to make creative decisions at that age, or just even personal goals. She was always 100% behind it. And she said, okay, go ahead, and she's always very, very pessimistic about it all. She was like, oh, I don't know how this one's going to go. And I turned her around and I won it. And she was just beside herself. She was like, how do you win with singing How Much Is That Doggy in the Window when everybody else is singing these serious songs? I mean, how serious could it be at 7? But yeah. And that's how that's where it all started to roll from there.
Yeah, did winning that comp sort of light a fire and make you start thinking, man, I want to be doing this all the time?
Vocally, yes. I used to do very well in dancing competitions, but this was my first singing competition. So yeah, from there on I thought, maybe I can do this. Yeah, it was. I never thought of it like that. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was a big kick.
So where to from there?
From there, I changed dancing schools, and then I ended up in the city doing classes, and they had some great teachers come through. And from there, I was still singing bits and pieces here and there. I started writing. I remember seeing this, like a magazine, when you go to the movies and they used to have, what's coming up new movie-wise and, stuff within the film and industry and whatnot. So picked up one of those magazines that was called Movie News. I thought, that's a great title for a song. I think I was about 9 or 10. So started writing then. I have no idea how it goes right now, but started writing then, but never really saw it as, I didn't think I was any good at it. I just thought it was a bit of fun. And then just through high school, the same thing, just, shopping centre shows, performing in Talent Quest and performing in club shows and doing the odd TV commercial here and there. And then I went to School of Performing Arts for year 11, the McDonald College. And I got about halfway through year 11 and I just thought, what am I doing this for? I'm so over everything. So I thought I'd just try something completely different. So, dropped out of school and then started working in a bank. And then I worked in a jewelry store.
Before we move on to that part of things, where was your musical where were your musical tastes at that stage? Where had it changed? What were you listening to? Who were the bands? Were you starting to zone into rock, or was it still the stuff that your mum and dad were listening to, or because usually by that age you're starting to find your own sort of jam.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I think it was about 12 at the time, and my next door neighbour was playing some Angels and some AC/DC, and I was like, ooh, hello,
Mm.
what's
Yep.
that? And that sparked a lot of curiosity from there. So then I listened to a lot of radio, and I used to, like we all did, make your own tapes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started listening to, a lot of pop music and a lot of rock music, and just really diving into infectious and a huge array of Aussie bands. Dragon, they're all the classics, Mondo
Yep.
Rock, AC/DC, all that.
Hang on, I need to correct you. Dragon is a New Zealand band, and I'm
Oh, you are correct.
I,
Yeah, you're allowed to be correct on that one.
on that one I am. Just on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lucky I didn't say split ends as well then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can have Russell Crowe. He's all yours.
Ah, you're so generous.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, you're I can see. Yeah, you're starting to get that rock vibe, and that's where we're going right now. You said that you are, you were kind of over it, and then you started working at a bank, and then into retail.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that go? How long were you how long were you at the bank?
Oh God, I think it was about maybe 9 months or something.
Okay.
A year,
okay.
maybe.
Yep.
I don't know. It was about 3 years in total, like working in different jobs. I was just, trying to find something different, and something that I wasn't around, or just something completely left of field. And I just thought, hey, maybe I'll be a banker. I don't know. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do that. And then just one day, mum could see me kind of, going off track, and, mother's instincts. She put a band together for me. And it was very cabaret-ish. We were called the Donovan Connection, and there was 2 horn players and 3 singers, and, your classic bass, drums and guitar. And we did a few talent quests with that, and then we did a few TV appearances. And then I thought, this is all right, actually. I don't mind doing this again.
Yeah.
And it was terribly cheesy cabaret. It was like, hot pink outfits with furry hair, teased hair for days, hot pink lipstick.
Yeah.
Just, it was very cheesy. But that's where my mum came from, so that was the thing. And, it was a good little thing for a little time. And then I saw that they were auditioning for Australia's Wonderland, the shows out there. And I thought, well, I can sing and I can dance. I never thought I was a good singer. I just thought I could hold a tune and, get away with a bit of, I don't know, personality and character, I guess, within these notes. So yeah, predominantly I was always a dancer first and then a singer. And so I thought, okay, I'll go and audition for that. So yeah, I ended up getting that job. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll join a real band, like something that's not cabaret. So I joined, I saw an ad in, at the time, Drum Media.
Yep.
And it was for the Rock Lobsters. And I thought, oh yeah, that sounds like fun. And yeah, I ended up getting that gig. So had a great time with that, playing all over Australia, actually. We did a few tours and whatnot. And yeah, just working with, a rockier a band, and, being in the clubs and like the real, grinding your teeth at Woolloomooloo Bay Hotel, just really cutting my teeth in all these venues. Yeah, and so I was working pretty hard, actually. I was doing Rock Lobsters. I was doing Australia's Wonderland. I was also teaching dancing at the time. I was also a swanette and a harlequin for the Sydney Kings basketball cheerleading. So yeah, I was flat chat at like 19, 18, 19, 20, I think it was. Did 2 seasons out at Wonderland. And then met up with some different producers and started writing again. Very cheesy pop stuff. Still hadn't really discovered my true rock calling, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know what you call that.
Yeah.
But I was just having fun, and I was just trying to see, hey, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can make a career out of this. And that's kind of, then it just evolved, I guess, from there. Just different bands, Baby Loves to Cha-Cha, more recordings, and again, still a dancer all the time. And that went on for years. Different bands all around Sydney. Different promotional tours with Australia's Wonderland to like Singapore. Started traveling, which was amazing. Gigs in Fiji and Papua New Guinea for Coca-Cola, with a 2-boy, 2-girl singing and dancing. I guess it was a combination of ABBA and I'm trying to think of the tackiest boy band, NSYNC or something like that.
Oh yeah. Hey, I like NSYNC. They're pretty cool. They were one of the good ones, I reckon.
They're up there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So it was, and so that was all. It was still all very cutesy and lots of fun, and and then I got offered. What happened there? Oh yeah, then I was off to Cairns, the casino. They were putting on a mini musical in their conservatorium at the top. It was a theatre dinner show. And so that was a just over a year contract up there. So that was performing in the shows 6 nights a week.
The same show.
An hour a night. The same show, an hour a night. But I was the swing in the show, so I played 3 different characters.
Okay.
So everyone got like an alternate night off.
Okay.
And that was a lot of fun. Continued doing a lot of writing on guitar and piano, just mucking around for myself. And then that came to a close, and I thought, well, what am I going to do now? The old performer's life. Okay, contract ends. What do I do now? So I saw that there was a audition for Cats, the musical, and I thought, well, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? I can get dressed up in lycra and be a cat, dance around. And as a dancer, again, it's one of the hardest dancing shows to do. And if you're a dancer, you got to do Cats. Like that's the musical to do.
Okay.
So I bought a brand new car in Cairns and drove all the way back to Sydney. And literally 2 days before the audition, I hadn't danced in probably about a year and a bit. And it was 3 days of callbacks and whatnot. And then I heard that the show was going to be in German. And I was like, the show's in German? Who in Australia speaks German? I thought it was going to be an Australian tour.
Yeah.
And then I found out the show was actually in Germany. And the company at the time used to audition worldwide and basically pick who they wanted from each country and threw us all together in Hamburg. So at the audition, the last day, they were, okay, we're off, we're off to Japan and Canada, and we'll call you in 3 months. And I was like, okay, bye. Really wasn't expecting to land the job at all. Midnight comes around one night. I'm set up again in Sydney, in Clovelly, and my mobile rings, and it's like, hello, is that Virginia? And I was like, yeah, thinking, who the hell is this at midnight with this funny accent?
Yeah.
And they said, it's Kat's Hamburg calling. And then I thought it was my friend playing a joke on me.
Right.
I'm like, oh, very, very funny, Amanda, hilarious. And they're like, no, this actually is that Hamburg calling. That was very bad German.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Anyway,
I wasn't going to say anything, but
come on, Stevie, yep. So 6 weeks later, I'd negotiated a contract. I'd packed up my house, and I was on a plane to Hamburg, and straight into 6 weeks rehearsal, learning a complete foreign language.
Yeah. How was those rehearsals? Intense?
Intense. Yeah. Totally intense.
Being cats, being the sort of pinnacle, full on boot camp type stuff.
Yeah, it's harsh, and
yep.
the show, obviously you want to be portraying a cat, so you're putting yourself in positions that your body doesn't really go in normally. So that's why they need very well trained dancers. And yeah, some mornings after the show, especially, the stage was on a rake, which means it goes down into the audience. It's on a slant. Right. So when you're doing like double turns on the demi of your like the ball of your foot, and your body's leaned right over, and you're doing double turns on the end of this stage, it could be quite scary because obviously the audience is dark. There's lots of lights. You've got this wig on. You've got cat's makeup, and it's just like, woo, it's a big trip. And then some days I used to wake up and I couldn't walk because the I don't know what you call that, but the section of the top of your foot to above your ankle was just in so much pain, so that you literally end up crawling to the toilet when you wake up in the morning because you couldn't walk.
It's like the instep of your foot. Are you talking about
No, so on the top of your foot.
Oh, right, okay.
So on the top of your foot, so like on the top of your ankle, because the stage was on a rake, so you're always pretty much on demi all the time, and you're up and down, and
not a natural position,
on your knees, and it's I lost a lot of weight because I sweated my ass off in the shows, and the show itself, like the end of the first act is like a 19-minute dance number. And the role that I played, Rumpelteazer, she's a kitten, so she's very energetic, and there's a lot of running around behind stage, climbing through tunnels, crawling through things, up, and then it's a pretty manic dance number. So by the end of that, everybody in the show is just backstage, just on the floor, panting away, sweat pouring off. So and the rehearsals for that were intense. Absolutely. Yeah.
Were they trying to also weed out the weak dancers during that stage, or was it the intense rehearsal, the intense auditions kind of got rid of that? Yeah.
So in the show you do have a lot of singer roles, which they do still have to dance, but they don't. They're not featured as much as the other dancers. So there's kind of camouflage in the back. And look, the singers in that show, they've got hard work because it's not easy choreography. And so for a singer who only just moves a little bit, it's a huge wake-up call for their bodies. They're like, oh, shit, my back. And some of them are not young either because of the different roles that, that they are. And so we'd probably get to the theatre at like, I don't know, 9:30 in the morning. You'd start rehearsal at 10. You'd go all day to about 6, and then you'd have some dinner, or you might have some call for something. But because most of the cast weren't German. There was 2 Germans in the show, so then we had to learn the show in German, how to sing in German. So I basically sang for a whole year not having any idea what I was singing about. It was just fish, schloss, schloss, fish. It was just sounds and it was all these weird Nordic sounds. And how do I sing that? And everybody was in the same boat because you had like people from America, Canada, Japan, Italy, New Zealand, Hungary, and none of us could speak German. So then it'd be like phonetic lesson until like God knows. Some nights I'd be in the theatre till 8:30 doing phonetics, and then I'd go and watch the show. Sometimes all the way through, sometimes not. So if I go all the way through, then we'd finish at like 10:30, 11 at night, and then go home and do it all again for 6 weeks. Yeah, so that was intense. Once the show is on the road, then it's, you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
But it is hard work. It's, you know, double show Saturday, double show Sunday, and then, you know, your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and get Mondays off.
Wow. So what would you do? What would you do in your days off? Was it just like total rest
sleep.
day, or yeah, okay,
yeah, because of course, you know, by the time you get to Sunday night, it's like, woo, let's go out. Oh,
yeah,
you know,
right.
you got through the week. You're like, oh, I've got to, you know, I deserve a reward for that. So you go out and have a few drinks, and then, you know, you get home, and then you're like, oh God, I'm exhausted now.
Yep.
And then Mondays would just be, you know, it'd be like a Sunday. You do some washing.
Yep.
Get up late, you know, go and have something to eat, do some shopping, and get your groceries, do all that. Yeah.
Mm. So after Cats ended, what did you do? Did you stay over there, or did you come home, start something else?
Oh God. So at the end of Cats, I was actually in rehearsal to do a cruise ship around Europe. So my plan was to do that, and then Rent auditions, the musical Rent auditions were coming up, and someone quite high up on the production side was like, I really want you to audition. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went in and sang, and I said, look, I had this cruise contract. I'm contracted for this. And they were very excited after I sang and passed me their card and said, you know, if anything happens, just let us know. Well, lo and behold, I don't know how to say this. Well, but basically I got fired from the cruise job because it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. So you ready? It's a bit of a story.
Yep.
So I was on a Monday off. I was rehearsing at like 10 a.m. for this cruise job. I'd hurt my knee like the night before in the show, so I thought I'll just go to the doctors. No, it was my back. I'll just go to the doctors in the morning and check it out before I get to rehearsal. I was literally probably 10 minutes late to rehearsal, and there was this American choreographer who was very high and almighty in his own mind, and so I, apologized, made myself quietly into position, and about 45 minutes into the rehearsals, it was quite full-on choreography while singing. And I said, look, I'm sorry, Randy, I won't be able to do that back bend move there because I've hurt my back. And he's like, then he just went off his nana. He's just like, who do you think you are? Hands on hips going, you arrived to rehearsal 10 minutes late and didn't even bother to call. I said, look, I'm really sorry. I can do this back bend. It's, you know what I'm capable of anyway. So yeah, he got all high and mighty, and I just thought, you know what? I really don't need this. I really just don't need it. So I just let him continue raving on, and I just went and picked up my bag and just looked at him and said, are you done? And he's like, if you walk out that door, girl, you're out of a job. And I was like, Randy, you can stick your job up your ass. And walked out the door, and I just said, oh no, I forgot my jacket. I've got to go back in. So I walked back in, and there he was with his hands on his hips telling all the other girls, and if anybody else wants to carry on like a diva like that, they can walk out the door right behind her. And I was like, sorry, hi, just throwing my jacket. So out.
You'll never work in this town again.
Exactly. Yeah. It was all that. And there's a funny story leading up to all his Randy and my what do you call it, connection, I guess. So that happened. So then I called Rent and I said, okay, look, I'm not doing the cruise now. And they went, awesome, okay. So they had me, really gunned in for this role. And then the callbacks weren't going to be for like another 2 months or something, or a month and a half or something. And I thought, well, I'm not going to hang around here. I've got a ticket home. I'll fly home and I'll go over my German, because it was all in German again. I'll go over my German text and songs in Australia. And they said, no problem at all. We will be in contact with you and we'll fly you back for your call back. And I was like, fantastic, that's great. So I came home, of course, didn't even look once at the German text of songs. I was too busy going, Australia, yay, meat pies and beach and yay, tarts and draft, yay. But yeah, then I got a phone call, and then I was about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks later, get a phone call. Hi, it's Brent. Your call back is tomorrow. And I'm like, you do realize I'm in Australia? And they're like, oh, okay. Well, how long's that flight? And I'm like, it depends which way. Where do I start? So the return flight that I had was to Singapore, then Paris, and then Amsterdam, and then that was it. So I'd have to catch the train from Holland to Germany. So yeah, I flew back and I walked into that audition jet lagged as hell, not knowing any German properly. Like I kind of could fluff my way through. Anyway, so I went in, did the best I could, then came out and they were like, look, your German it has to be absolute accent free, you know, and it's just not there for us. And I was like, it's totally fine. I completely understand. Thank you so much, you know, for everything. So yeah, so then there I was in Dusseldorf going, okay, well, here I am back in Germany and nowhere to live, no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, and then, you know, things just fell into line. I stayed on a friend's couch and then started working with a band that had a few gigs around Germany. So then I was on the road with them. And yeah, and then a friend and myself were kind of, you know, in Germany, another Australian friend of mine, both from Cats, just going, okay, what are we going to do? And then we found out that the director of Greece was doing a European tour and needed 2 swings. So yeah, so then my friend and myself, Damo, and I went to do Greece, the European tour. We did that, and then yeah, I just bounced from musical to musical and freelance work in between. And the thing with Europe was that really just amazed me. Everybody was just so open with ideas and opportunities. You know, if there was an audition in Australia, I find a lot of people, because it's such a small industry. Well, it's a big industry, but there's a lot of people in a small industry. That's what I mean to say. So a lot of the time they keep a lot of information, you know, to themselves. But in Europe, I found that everyone was very open and loving about job possibilities and auditions and stuff like that. So yeah, I just kept going and just very lucky to fall into musical after musical. And then the rock thing. So and then I had, that's right, I had a single release through Sony. It was a dance track, and it went okay. You know, did some noise in Ibiza and these party islands. And then they said to me, you know, we want to do another single, and I was like, yeah, I'm not really. That's when the rock thing really started to, you know, go. This is where I should be going.
Yep.
And I said, look, thank you for the offer, but I'd really like to start looking at rock music. To which the producer said, oh, we can do rock music. And I'm like, no, I don't think so.
No, you can't. Nah.
So, yeah, I moved on, and that's right. I was just trying to think, how did all that start? So then, oh God, I was still dancing. So I was doing dancing gigs. I was doing tap dancing for Bosch, the you know, the drills and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're doing this. It was like a stomps and beats and rhythm thing. So it had like drummers and tap dancers, and we, you know, use big steel drums and tap on steel grates and stuff like that. Very tap doggy-ish.
Tap doggy. Yep.
Yeah. So there was a drummer on that, and we had this gig in Prague, and we were on a bus, and he said that he'd been working on some music, and I said, oh, that's great, you know. So we started chatting away, and then he said, "Oh, would you like to hear something?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to hear something." So he gave me a listen to this track, and I just went, "Oh, this is what I've been looking for. Like this is great." But they had a Turkish rapper on it, and I was like, "Get rid of the Turkish rapper. You don't need him. You need me."
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's how my original German band started over. My original band started over in Germany. I was thinking like a German then. I was like backwards English talking.
So yeah, sorry, go.
No, you're right. Go for it.
No, I was going to say,
I've talked enough.
No. Well, it's about you. The more you talk, the less I have to. People don't want to hear me talking.
Well, I do know myself, I guess.
Yeah. So the band in Germany, the original band in Germany, did that have any links to Lillye Band at all?
None at all.
None at all. Okay, so that was just songing over there. Yep.
Yeah, purely just in Germany, and we actually, I did Hair, the musical, which was a lot of rocky influence going on there. Then Jesus Christ Superstar, that's again very very rock based thing. So I kept getting more inspiration and writing heaps, and we were writing together with this guitarist in England, and we were coming up with some great stuff. So then we started putting the band together, and then I was doing Mamma Mia, and then I was not doing Mamma Mia due to contractual reasons, and we were kind of sitting in Hamburg, this drummer and I, and we were kind of working out where to go, because again, I was free to go in any direction. And we were going to go to England, but we thought, living on the pound might be a little bit difficult. And again, I had a ticket in my contract, so I knew that I could come back to home. And then the drummer said, "Well, what about Australia? Do you think we can give it a bash?" And I said, "Well, look, if you're prepared to give up your life and give it a start." I had another contract starting in like 6 months later back in Germany. So I said, sure. So he actually came out here, and we had 2 German film crew film the whole experience about how this German was moving to Australia to start a rock band, and these cameras were following us everywhere. And we actually had Chris Gonzalez on guitar and Dario on bass.
Right.
Funny enough.
Yeah.
And we did a couple of rehearsals. They learnt the songs and whatnot, and then Dario was super busy with Jimmy Barnes at the time, and so we thought, oh, okay, no worries, we'll start looking elsewhere. And then the German drummer just, was running out of money. He was, all that. He was getting quite depressed, and so I said, oh, look, just go back. I'll be back in a month's time, and we'll pick it up again. So that's what we did. So yeah, he flew back. I flew back about a month later, and then we formed the band together in Germany, and had a few support slots with like El Nino and Monster Magnet and some festival, Bochum Festival or something. And yeah, we had a lot of interest. Like it took off really quickly. And then it just, within the band, it just started getting a bit wibbly wobbly, I guess, so to speak. So then that kind of died on the, it's probably, I was trying to think how many years we were together. Probably about 3, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
3, maybe. I don't know. I can't think. Yeah. So yeah, then that finished. And then I was, going all around Europe singing loads of corporate stuff. By this time, I'd put my dancing shoes to bed, and I was focusing solely on singing. And did really, really well over there. I was very lucky to land some amazing gigs and see a lot of Europe. And then it just came, things were going really good for me in Germany, but then it came to a point, it was like, do I see myself growing old here? And I had to make that decision, because I knew the age that I was heading into, and, what I'd done and where I'd been. And I knew if I did decide to go home, it would have to be now in order to reestablish myself.
Okay.
So yeah, I made the choice to say goodbye to Germany and come home.
What year was that?
2008.
Okay.
No, wait. Yeah, yes. Wait a minute. 2009,
Yep.
2010, 2010, 2000.
Late
I don't know,
2000,
2008
late
or
2000s. Late 2000s. That'll do.
That's the one.
That'll do. Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
somewhere around there. And then I had to start all over again.
Yeah, I saw in one of the voice promos, little interviews that you did, you mentioned something about doing some ghost singing or ghost. Yeah, you want to talk a little bit about that and explain to people what that is?
Yeah, sure. So a ghost voice is when you get you get a job to do a recording basically for a single that's going to be released, and they don't use your face, they just use your voice. So it's Milli Vanilli, basically. So
somebody else gets there and mimes your song. Oh, right.
Yeah. So that's what a ghost voice is. So it's like a ghost.
Right.
It's like the voice, I thought it was in the background.
Yeah, like I've heard about ghost writers and that kind of thing. Like I thought a ghost voice was just. I mean, you hear of those. You're talking before about some of the dance stuff and Ibiza and that kind of music. You get artists that have vocalists on their tracks, but you never know the names of them. You never see them. They never show them, and they never tell anybody. So I thought maybe it was something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
right.
It's exactly the same thing. The voice is there. So I did. They were called Fresh Caramel, a 2-boy, 2-girl group, and they were signed with. Oh God, I can't remember. They were signed with somebody, and they were really bad. They were so bad. I actually ended up being the choreographer, which was hilarious.
But they had great. They must have great voices though. Hey,
that's what I mean. Like that was so bad. I was like, oh my God! Like hello Germany. Like
yeah, right.
Your typical blonde. You had your blondie and you had your brunette, and of both. So male and female, 2 blondes, two brunettes, and couldn't sing to save themselves. They looked great, but they couldn't sing to save themselves.
Right.
Bless. And they couldn't move either. So that was just a big challenge for me to make them, look somewhat capable of, moving their bodies in the right direction. And so, the song was called Weekend Time, and the producer wanted it very, girly, poppy. He said to me, he was American, and he goes, he says to me, like Kylie Minogue, like you're Australian, you should know Kylie Minogue. I'm like, yeah, okay, right. So it's all very girly, son, and I'm doing lots of that. And I had a lot of things like that where they'd really want this girly thing, so I had a lot of fun with it. But at that stage, it was like not moving on to a rockier edge.
Yeah. So, like doing something like that, doing the ghost voice thing, I'm sure it was sort of fun at the time doing the recording and hearing it. That this is pretty cool. But then when you're seeing them up there, and it's your voice coming out of this other girl. I mean, what's the headspace there? What are you thinking? Is this like? I mean, I hope you got paid well for it. Because then you go, I got paid.
It's just amusing, I think.
Amusing, okay.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much what's got me through actually my whole career. It's just having fun with things and,
cool.
Not taking everything too seriously, I think. And it was bizarre at one gig they did, because I used to go around with them quite often in the tour van and whatever, and there was this one, it's called the Dom, and it's like a big festival within, if you can imagine like the entertainment center or something like that. It's, a big arena vibe. And that was bizarre that day because you had thousands of screaming German little girls and boys with posters and cardboard signs for them. And there she is miming away with my voice blaring out through this arena. And that day I had to really just have a big smirk and just go, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is so funny. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people are like, oh, you should have been in it. I'm like, no way in the world. Like, no amount of money would get me singing that sort of stuff. Maybe probably 10 years ago I would have had a different view behind that. But
Gotcha.
at that point I was like, nah, I don't need to do that. No, that's silly.
Okay, so we've chosen the rock direction now. That's all done with. So how did you go about getting that together, and what was this the start of Lillye?
So upon returning to Australia, I really wasn't sure where I was going to go, but I did have to start all over again. I was very fortunate to meet Peter Northcote and Joseph. Joseph asked me to do a Led Zeppelin show, and that's where I started to meet a lot of people. Again, in drum media, I saw that this band this cover band Funkstar, were looking for a singer, and that's how I met Ray. And so then it started to pick up and grow for me. And then I thought, okay, so I've got my working side going for me, earning money. Now it's time to look at doing something else. And I always wanted to pursue or to continue what I'd started in Germany, basically. A female-fronted rock band that was kind of melodically run with heavy riffs and something a bit exciting and edgy and a little bit different. It was actually after The Voice, the first time I did The Voice. No chair turned. So I was hoping that would sort of, enable me to meet more people that way. But yeah, no chair turn. So I thought, okay, no worries. So I started meeting with different producers. And the first guy was like, oh, with all your musical theatre background, I think you should be like a rock Gaga. And I'm like, well, there already is a Gaga. And no. So I thought, no, that's not going to work. So, and then the next person said, I think, maybe you should be like the female Coldplay. And I'm like, well, no, I don't want to do that either. No. And then I got called into the studio, into Christian's studio, the bass player in Lillye. He was producing, or he was mixing and looking after this. It was a tribute album to Australian artists, and they wanted me to do Boys in Town. So I went in and recorded that, and he said, oh, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm actually looking for people to work with. So he said, oh, look, I've got a couple of tracks you might be keen on. I'll send them over. And I said, yeah, okay. Well, he sent them over, and he sent like 7 or 8 songs, actually. He sent all this big file, and I was like, oh, okay, shit. I opened the first one, and I went, yes.
That's it.
Yes, this is where I'm going. Yes, I just had an understanding, and straight away, instantly, just the first song came so quickly to me, melodies all, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. Come in the studio. He was like, what? So and then it just kind of, we started working on tracks from there, and it's funny because Christian was like, the bass player was like, I'm not going to be in the band. And I'm like, no, that's cool. You don't need to be in the band. That's all right. But as we started auditioning people, he's like, okay, I want to be in the band now. I was like, yay!
Yeah.
So, and it was great to meet the other side of, like the real original guys. Dario and Pete and Bobby. They're all amazing players and very busy. So that was the hardest thing. It was like trying to start a band with busy people, whereas the guys that I was working with weren't so busy. And then Bennett actually showed a lot of interest to drum, and I was like, I'm not sure. Are you sure? And he's like, please. So I was like, okay. So he came along and auditioned, and then it was like, he was in. So yeah, that's where all that started. Yeah.
So
I'm exhausted listening to all that myself.
Those 7 or 8 tracks that Christian sent through, did they end up being your EP, your first EP?
Who I meant to be? Yeah. I'm just trying to think how many exactly there were. I think there was 3 from those 7 tracks, and another 2 we wrote after that. So we had Andrew Lillye in the band as well, and he so Matt was responsible for writing, I think 2 or 3, and Lillye was Andrew Lillye was the other tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Right,
yeah, and it was just it was just something that it was different. I'd never heard something since with all the people that I've been searching and looking with and talking with. It was just right off the mark, and it just hit me straight away. I was like, yep, this is what I feel. This is good.
Mm. That's cool. So once the EP dropped, did you start making some waves? Were people interested?
As in which people?
Oh, like labels possibly, or managers, or booking agents, that kind of thing. Were they sort of ready to pick you up? Did they hear something that they hadn't heard before and that kind of thing?
Not really. I mean, the reason why we did the EP was basically as an introduction to the band. To say we had no interest whatsoever wouldn't be true, but it did pick up. The momentum picked up. A lot of fans came on board. People running different nights at different clubs. A lot of interviews. A lot of it did quite well actually in the States. We had a company over there who was very keen on pushing it. So we got onto college radio over there. So we did have it was a bit of a shock to the system, I think. It wasn't knocking down the doors from labels or booking agents or anything like that. It was just the first step was just getting it out there, creating a buzz, getting a lot of interviews. We had a lot of interviews, a lot of press and things like that. So we just took that on board and continued to roll into the album with that. And that's when we started recording the album. That's when we started searching around for different people as far as labels. And and then we had a lot of conversations actually at that point. So I guess it did. Yeah, I guess it did. There was a big difference, a big time space between, I think it was 2014 when we released the EP, and we basically, we basically flogged that to death for like 14, 15, 16. Yeah, about 2 years. About 2 years we really, pushed that single, let that roll for a little bit, single, I think we released just the 2 singles off that. And then we re-released one of the tracks. We got some publishing interest over in Germany. So we signed one song with them just to see how it went. And it's a hard slog. As you know.
I do understand that original indie scene, because I've been in a number of bands in Sydney. Not quite to the we haven't got quite got anywhere near as far as you guys did, but just playing those dark rooms and to nobody, and then just interviews and community radio and just doing everything you can, and then getting the knockbacks and the people saying that they're interested and giving you crappy deals, and it's all about them, and but then you get up and you keep going, eh?
Yeah, that's right. You got to do it for the love and the passion and the fun.
That's
Again,
right.
There comes the fun factor. You've got to keep it fun, otherwise you just go bananas.
Exactly.
Go absolutely bananas. Or maybe I am bananas already. Who knows?
Yeah. So from when the EP came out and then till your 2018 album Evolve came out, what else were you doing during that time? Were you, doing the corporate scene? Were you playing in covers bands? Were you, were you teaching, dancing, singing, teaching? What were you sort of filling up the gaps with there?
Yeah. So loads of cover gigs. So different bands. Funk Style was very busy. Lots of Peter Northcote gigs. Lots of little corporate things here and there. I actually was back and forth to Germany. Excuse me. Still, I still have an agent over there. So the Mercedes-Benz thing will come up, and so they'll phone me over to do that, or VW, or So I had a couple of those in between, and just teaching singing as well. My mum has her studio there, so it's very easy for me just to walk in there and not have to pay costs for a room to hire to teach. So that's a huge blessing. It's a great thing to have. Heaps of teaching, heaps of gigs. Like it was flat out.
Yep,
that's really good.
That's good.
Yeah, and it keeps you young. Keeps your energy up. That's one of the things I've noticed. Being on a COVID break and then coming back and doing my first gig was so exhausting. Just like with seminar, I was I can't breathe. And lyrics, like the memory, be like, hang on, So gig ready and worthy. It was that's the great thing about doing heaps of cover gigs. It gave me a lot of energy and a lot of stamina to do the Lillye stuff, because it is quite full on. I don't know why I write my lyrics. My melody's so high. I'm like, you idiot, when I'm on stage going, you wrote it too high again.
I've been listening to Evolve the last couple of days in my car, because I've had a couple of long trips in the car. So I've been slamming that album, and it's fantastic. Like melodically, like sonically, it's just a brilliant sounding album. It's so, production is slick. It's got the riffs, the drums are awesome, and your vocal is just outstanding.
Thank you so
I marvel at your range. You can sing low and then just go, and like at the flick of a switch. It's incredible. Amazing.
Thank you so much. It's nice. Sorry.
No, I was going to say
I'm a bit overwhelmed by that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All good. There's one song I didn't get the name of it, because I didn't catch the name of the car, because I'm driving. But you kind of it kind of breaks down, and you kind of like, it sounds like you're in a room and you sort of start talking to yourself, and then you get like this. I'm just. I can see I can see you in whatever space you were when you were, telling that little part of the story, and then you just let rip and the song goes. I thought it was fantastic. Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. It was kind of, that moment in the studio where it's like, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I will just kind of do something. And I think I just kind of got, when you're like, you start going, I don't know where I'm going, and you kind of freak out, and they got to the end, went, oh, fuck it, I'm there now. And then then the run to the nothing else to say. And it was kind of, again, let's just have fun with this and see where this goes.
That's funny. It's funny you've said that, because like I said, I had it in my mind that it's this planned out thing that you had. This part of the song, I'm in this room and I'm starting to get in close, so I'm gonna But from what you've just said, there was nothing like that at all.
Well, kind of. Look, I had a vision and things written down in front of me, and I knew how I wanted to sort of give that atmosphere to it.
Yep.
But I didn't know exactly what was going to come out.
Yep.
And that's what came out, because I wasn't really sure where it was going. Yeah. I guess if I had worked it out, then it would have been a complete bomb.
It probably wouldn't have sounded as good.
Yeah, and that's where the magic happens, when you're not, that when you're not expecting it or planning it. That's the magic right there.
Exactly. So going into The Voice this time round, were you thinking you're going to use it, like you went in with the first time, with using it as a platform to push Lillye somewhere else?
100%.
100%.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah. I just, as we discussed earlier, it's the perfect platform the cheapest, the cheapest PR you can get.
Yep.
And I thought, not only for Lillye, but just for Aussie rock chicks in general, Aussie rock chicks, females that are pursuing a rock career, I guess, vocally, just to stand up. There's a few girls out there bashing away. And I just think it's really missing a lot of that essence in Australia. We haven't had a good rock band, like a girl fronted, let's get down and dirty. And there hasn't been that for a while. And I just wanted to stand up and be the voice for that. I just wanted to go, look, we're still here. And Australia, give it a go. I mean, we're Aussie, and our roots are totally, rock and roll all the way. And I feel that, we've lost a lot of that essence due to, the radio stations picking up, American sounding artists. Don't get me wrong, there's heaps of amazing people like Tash Sultana. I think she's absolutely incredible. Cat Empire, Tame Impala, like there's heaps of stuff out there, but and even, Emil and the Sniffers, there's some great female bands going around, but I'm still missing like the next Baby Animals or the next, Super Jesus or you know what I mean?
The Vinyls or something. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. The Vinyls, like a good, strong female up front. And Amy does that very well. I almost find her a bit punkish though, so I just wanted to get out and do that and go, hey, Australia, let's do it. Let's rock and roll.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And
then COVID came.
Yeah, that's it. Now, you're, like you said, you guys are in the studio and writing and recording for a new album. Is that going to be anything sort of similar to the Evolve sound? I think we've really established our sound. The first EP, we were, aiming for something, and I think by the time we got to Evolve, we really were comfortable in what we were sounding like. Trying to keep those really melodic choruses happening. Had those elements of surprises. I almost want to say a little bit of rapping involved, but there's not it's rapping-ish, I guess. I don't know. Yep.
The next album will be similar to Evolve. It'll definitely, I think we've definitely found our sound. And I think that is very obvious when you listen to our version of Screaming Jets Better that we released earlier this year. I think that, as soon as you hear that, you think, okay, that's a Lillye track. I can hear Lillye in there.
Cool.
There's some elements of surprises in there as well. We've got a guest artist on one track, which is completely something that we would never have thought of before, and so that's sounding again a little bit different and unique, and I guess a little bit cinematic, I guess you would say.
Is that a guest vocalist?
So that, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So we did a track with Clarissa, the opera singer from The Voice.
Oh wow.
The girl that I did the battle with.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So we've got her on one track, doing a couple of vocals there.
Wow, that's awesome! Can't wait to hear that.
So it's along the same lines for sure. It's definitely energetic. It's definitely a lot of fast songs. It's definitely something that you can get to point A to B very quickly when you're in the car.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
So when's that expected to be finished, released? What's your plan? It's probably a bit tricky to kind of plan that. Yep.
It is, it's super tricky.
Yep.
We had all intentions of releasing it this year, around now, actually, around October. But due to the fact that, it's just you release something and then there's nowhere to really go and support it.
Yep.
So we decided to hold back a bit on it.
Cool.
So the band very luckily just got signed to Destroy All Lines booking agent.
Mm-hmm.
So once we're ready to go, then we have a great a great booking agency ready to book us shows and, see what happens. They've got some big things coming up. Like I know they've got Offspring and Sum 41 touring for them next year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we just have to wait and see what happens. But I would say definitely, in the first half of 2021 for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. But in the meantime, we keep pulling songs apart and restructuring and writing new songs,
That's the thing,
which is good. I think this extra time is exactly what is needed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no rush. There's absolutely no rush to do it.
No, that's right.
There's no point just throwing something out just because you feel you have to.
Yep.
So it's exciting. I love this part of it. I love the process of writing and arguing with the boys and going, no, that doesn't sound right. It should go here. And them going, no, what's wrong with you? No.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Again, there's the fun.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I love the process. I love the process of writing. I totally dig the process of recording the thing. And then, of course, all the hard work comes after that. Great. Yeah.
Now, I asked you yesterday to choose one song and only one song that's had
one song.
Only one. That's what makes this cool. That's had the biggest impact on you. You sent that song to me today, so I want you to introduce that song, and then we'll start playing it. We'll listen to it together, and then tell us why you chose that song and what that impact was first time you heard it.
So absolutely. So thanks for giving me the hardest task in the world and just having one favorite song. So I have chosen a song from one of my favorite bands, Skunk and Nancy, and the song is called Tracy's Floor.
All right, so why this song? Why Skunk and Nancy? What's the attraction there?
So Skunk and Nancy would have to be one of my favourite female-fronted rock bands of the last. When did they come out? End of ~90s. They just have so much power and Skin, the lead singer. She inspired me to really, take vocals to another level, to show light and shade. Her songwriting ability is intense and dirty, and this song alone just shows so much diversity in like a 3-minute song.
Yeah.
It goes through all these. Yeah, it really goes through all these tidal waves and of emotions and, the build-up at the end.
Yeah, and it rips at the end, yeah.
Sorry?
I said, and then it starts to rip at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, the hair starts to go taller and taller on your arms and the back of your neck. You're like, oh, my God, where's this going? And it's like, it's almost, like a mini orgasm, I guess. It's this build-up and the tension, and then there's this big release. And the first time I heard it, I was living in Hamburg, and it was snowing outside, and I just bought this new album, and I put it on, and this song just stood out for me because it was just so amazing. it's just the only way I can describe it. It was just amazing. The production, I thought, was insane. The strings are beautiful. The way it flows, it was just a perfect flow. The ebb was, it was perfect. This is her.
Start to build, yeah.
Yeah.
Intense. Yeah. Brilliant. Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, and I love the way that it's so theatric as well. The theatrical aspect really shines in that song. And I guess it really portrays, my life, my life story. A lot of influences are right there in that song.
Yeah, that's cool. Can you tell us a couple of your career highlights to date? I'm sure there's many more to come. There's definitely many more to come. but September 2020, give us two career highlights.
Well, most definitely the singing with Gene Simmons at Amore Theatre. That was a huge highlight. Thanks to Dario and Travis for lining that one up for me. Like I couldn't believe it when Daz called me, and in typical true blue Daz fashion, hey Dad, what are you doing? What are you doing on this date? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, why is it a boat shed gig? Thinking, am I going to be at Manly?
Yeah.
And then he's like, nah, it's fucking unreal if it takes off, eh? Like, I was like, oh shit, what is it? Like, for Daz to get that excited. Yeah, and then he said, singing with Gene Simmons. I was like, are you serious right now? Like, wow, like, what? It's just a dream. So that was definitely a massive highlight of my career. And I would never in a million years would have thought that would have happened.
Right. Did you get to spend much? Did you get to spend much time with them? Like
you know what? I did.
Oh, great!
Yeah,
cool.
I did. Heaps of time. It was actually. It felt like I was in a Wayne's World film. Like it was just so surreal and so bizarre. Because he speaks German, so I started speaking German to him, which he was, was quite impressed, I guess, with, and he was just like, oh. So yeah, we had a great conversation. We were literally hanging out backstage, like it was literally hanging out. Even Julian, my husband, ended up doing Zorba, the Greek dancing with him, and it got to that point where he just got really cheeky, and he'd be like, so instead of calling me Virginia, he'd be calling me like Victoria or Vanessa or and then he'd have a bit of a chuckle after it, and I go, what do you want, Gaz? And then call him every other male name beginning with G other than G. So it was bizarre, and he kept saying, come here, come and sit next to me, girl. So yeah, it was like, okay. And look, my husband was there the whole time. He was, as chauvinistic and womanizer that Gene is, he was completely respectful, and
that's cool.
It was a total wow moment. Yeah, amazing. Yeah,
that's great.
It was cool.
And what about something else?
So I was very, again, blessed. I've been so blessed. Like, it's amazing when you sit down here and start talking about it all. Chrissy Amphlett, I've always admired Chrissy for her independence and her just being such a strong woman. And, as she was going through those last years with breast cancer, my auntie actually was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I got contacted by the guys who were doing her I Touch Myself campaign to be a part of the Australian campaign, which involved, I think it was 8 or 9 Australian artists, female artists, and I was one of them. And I was, again, just bowled over at, A, being asked to do that, and to be behind such a wonderful cause for it all. And that was amazing as well. Just truly blessed, truly blessed. Yeah.
Well, Virginia Lillye, this has been a treat, man. I wish we'd been in the same room together to do this, but that whole COVID, we're doing the right thing here.
Yeah, look, next time for sure. I want to ask you. I want to interview you now.
Oh, no.
I feel like all I've done is talk all night.
It's
not fair.
No, it's not about me. No,
I'm sure you've got some stories too. I'm very curious as to how you got here from New Zealand and.
Oh, on a plane. On a plane, like most people.
Oh, really? You didn't swim? Oh.
No, I can't
you
swim.
lazy bastard.
No, awesome.
No, I would love to. Can we do that one? Can we have a gig podcast series one night where maybe everyone that you've interviewed, we can interview you?
Well, we'd have to ask the people that.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're listening, if anyone out there wants my friends to interview me, put it in a Facebook message or something like that. And if people want to hear that, if they want to hear that, hey, we'll do it. Otherwise,
everyone's got a story. I mean, why did you start the podcast? There's so many questions and stories behind your life as well, and I think it's important that the people out in the world know about it.
I think I think I have said why I started the podcast. And it was, I wasn't playing. I'd stopped playing in a band, and I'd taken some time, and I wrote and I recorded and I released my first EP, solo EP, did it all by myself. And then that was done. And then I was a little bit bored. And I used to listen to podcasts driving to and from gigs. And there was one that I listened to that I really liked, and I had to think about it, and I thought, well, that's not happening here in Sydney. So that's that. I did it. I started it up, and here we are.
Great. There you are. You've done heaps now. I mean, how long have you been doing these now?
Well, this is
time.
Yeah, this is 90. Your episode number 98. So we're So we're a couple off 100, and then
right. Well, maybe that's the 100th show. You see?
Oh, nah. Save the 100 first.
Who's on at 100? The Queen.
The Queen, yeah, Queen.
Queen?
No, not the Queen. Queen. Yeah. Freddie's coming back for it. Yeah.
Now that would be a good chat.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Look after yourself.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You too.
If we get all this, if the comments go viral about the interview, we'll do it.
I'm sure they will. I mean, I know I'll be getting all my friends to write. Which is about 2, so
Yeah, no, good. One more than mine. All right, Virginia, take it easy. Look after yourself and stay safe.
Thank you so much.
Yep, sweet as. We'll talk
soon. I've been really looking forward to this. And
good stuff. Me too.
You didn't disappoint. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Take it easy. All right.
I'll see you soon.
See ya.
For another one.
Yeah, sweet. Cheers. All right, catch ya.
Okay, so there's a story of when I so now I've done about 5 or 6 tours over to the Middle East now to perform for the troops. But my very first one was to Afghanistan, and with these shows they had like a combination of people on board, so it was like a a country singer, a comedian, they had an army band, and they had myself. And so, yeah, every base that we visited, every army base that we visited, hello COVID, every base that we went to see, we got briefed on, you know, the dangers and what we had to look out for, and just to be, you know, aware of our surroundings and what could happen. Anyway, the tour went really well, and it was the last gig of the tour, and we were performing in this big hangar, and the audience was packed. We had Australian troops, English troops, American troops, Dutch troops, and Italian troops. There was so many different nationalities there. And anyway, the show's going really well. And in these briefings that we had at each base, the last one we were at, they were like, okay, we're on very high alert at this base here, and there's 2 sirens that you need to keep an ear out for. And the first siren, they explained how it went, and that meant one thing. And then there was another siren that you had to look out for, and that meant another thing. I'm not sure if I can say exactly what it was. So, yeah, so it was 2 sirens that we were, you know, told about. That's kind of crucial moment if you hear that. And we're like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, it's not going to happen. Like, you know, we're all good. And anyways, yeah, we're doing the last show of the tour, and the comedian's done his slot, and crowd's going crazy, and the country girl's done her little bit, and that was all good. And there was an FHM model there as well as like the compere and stuff. So, you know, she was introducing and doing all that on stage, and then the army band played something, and then I got up to perform. And I was halfway through my set, and I started off on an Alanis Morissette song. And I look out to the back of the audience, and I slowly see the crowds dispersing, and I'm thinking, where are they? Where are they going in a hurry? I thought, maybe they have a meeting. Maybe they have, you know, they've got to get somewhere quickly or something. I don't know. And next minute, more people start to scurry away, and I'm thinking, what's going on? They don't like Alanis Morissette. And then the band stopped, and then you could hear the siren, and it was just like, oh, shit. I can't remember if I had the microphone in my hand and put it back in the mic or stand, or just dropped it on the floor. I really can't remember. I just kind of went, just froze, and started running on the side of off the side of the stage. And to my surprise, one of the Special Forces guys just came and picked me up in his arms and carried me like running off stage, and my legs are going crazy like a cartoon, you know. As he's running, I'm still running with my legs in the air, and then he throws me to the ground, and, you know, we all have to face a particular direction, and on your stomach with your elbows in, and my adrenaline's pumped from the gig, and, you know, now it's just amplified with this attack on ground. So, yeah, and I'm like going, oh my God. And the country singer's like running with my back going, it's okay, we're not going to die. And I'm like, no, we're not going to die. But what the fuck's going on? And then anyway, we're all there, and everyone's on the ground, and there was a bit of commotion and stuff. And then it was like 10 minutes or so. It felt like a lifetime that we were just lying on the ground. And then after a certain period of time, we got shuffled off into like a bunker area, and then we got the all clear. It was all good. You know, it was safe now. And if I wanted to go back on stage, I was, you know, I'm more than welcome to. And so they asked me, you know, how do you feel about going back on and finishing your set? And I just said, absolutely, you know, the stuff these guys go through every day, absolutely. So, yeah, so I went back out, and I sang Highway to Hell and Living on a Prayer, which blew the house down. I don't want to say, I shouldn't say those words, but yeah, it went down a treat, and they just loved it, and we were like, woo! like, yeah, just going crazy. So that was just, like, it's not going to happen, no way, you know. And then, boom.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's scary, exciting, but look, personally, I don't know if I would have gone back on, but anyway, that's me.
Look, you're in safe hands. Like, you know, they're really well looked after, and, you know, they will get treated like royalty. And, you know, when you see how the men and women of the forces go through each day in, day out in this, you know, in this world of just surrealism, that's the least I could do is sing a couple more songs. So, it was a lot of fun.
So that first siren, was it a raid or something? Or something on, oh, you're not allowed to say. You don't have to say. It's fine.
So one siren is basically there's a missile coming in.
Oh, shit.
And the other siren is that there's an attack on ground.
Right.
So they actually got onto the base. But in my particular circumstance, it was the first one.
Yeah.
So, there was a missile coming in and it landed outside of the green zone. So, yeah.
Far out.
But hey, look, you know, they were just amazing. The Special Forces were straight onto us and, you know, covering me, and, you know, I was in perfectly good hands.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, but it's a story.
That's a cracker. That's a cracker. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what do you got next?
So I was living in Germany at the time, and I was doing the musical Hair. And there's a couple of stories within the Hair show, but one of them was, I'll tell this one first. So one of them is really funny because the end of the first act is basically everyone's naked on stage and you stand in one line completely butt naked. But in this production, they had like a curtain in front of us all, but it was split. So it was a thick perspex curtain that was split equally all the way along. And so it would be funny because the aircon would start to blow. And you go, no. And so you just got to go, oh, shit. And in this production also, the band were behind us.
Right.
And it was hilarious because you just knew, like, before this moment in the show was coming up, all the guys had put their sunnies on in the band. And so every night they just saw a row of bums, which was pretty funny. And the fire, there was a what do you call him, like a fireman, you know, something, you know, it's to burn or whatever. He's there with his little hose and, you know, clears it all. He used to sit closer in the wings as the time was coming, to the point where one of the girls complained that this fireman was, like, you know, having a good old geese. So he was swiftly escorted about, 30 seconds before the big naked scene. So he was hurried off, and then he was never there to be seen when our bums were showing. But yeah, there's another story. So I was in this particular production. The lead girl is usually white, but in the production we did, she was black, and so the other lead role was white, and I had the opportunity to do that role. And it was a Saturday, I think it was a Saturday, and it was like it was a Sunday, because we had double show Saturday and it was 2 shows on Sunday. So we'd been out on Saturday night, get up, do the afternoon show on the Sunday, and then in between the break I thought I'll just have a little snooze on the couch in my dressing room. So I'm sleeping away, and next minute over the PA system I hear, "Can Virginia come down and get your mic check?" And I was like, because that's usually what happens, like 10 minutes before the show, you know, the crew gets you down, make sure everything's plugged in correctly, your microphone's working, all good, because they were head mics. So yeah, I hear this, "Can Virginia come to stage?" And I'm like, oh, shit, okay, all right. So sleepy-eyed, I had to go down 3 flights of stairs to get to the stage. And I get down there and they're like, yep, all good, you know, microphone's on, it's working. And I slowly make my way back up these 3 flights of stairs and go to the makeup room, and I'm slowly getting ready. And over the PA system, I hear the beginning of the show starting, and I'm like, what is that the beginning of the show? And one of the makeup ladies was like, yeah, that's the beginning of the show. And I was like, fuck, because what happens is the perspex curtain is there, in front, and there's Claude, the main character, he's in a tattoo chair and he's getting a tattoo, and all the chorus is doing all this choreography around him and everything. And basically what happens is there's about, I don't know, so much space of choreography and music. And then what happens is my character comes through the perspex curtains and starts to sing Aquarius. So yeah, I hear beginning, I'm like, shit, okay. So I start rushing to get ready, and I literally am like, friends of mine are on stage going, where is she? What's going on? Where is she? She's gonna miss it. She's gonna miss it. And I just literally just flew down 3 flights of stairs, and because I hadn't really spoken to anybody either, I just sort of woken up and got down there literally to the second, to the beat, pushed through the perspex curtains, went to sing. I went, when the moon is in the summer. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, so I sounded like a drag queen for the first 2 bars of Aquarius.
So did you get spoken to afterwards? Did the stage manager or the production
No, not at all. They just thought it was pretty funny that I
that's good.
But I made it. I mean, oh man, and my heart was pounding like anything. And there's nothing worse than that feeling of missing a cue. It's just like, oh no, lump in the throat, just going, oh shit. And I wish I had a recording because it was pretty impressive.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so that's my little hair story.
Well saved.
Yeah, super well saved.
Yeah.
And then I have another story when I was doing the European tour of Greece. So I was employed as a swing, which meant that I had to cover all the roles in the chorus. So, and it was an American company, and basically, if the cast didn't go on stage, they didn't get paid. So they never took a sick day, which meant I rarely got on stage. It was just, a blessing if somebody was sick that I would go on stage.
Right.
And I still got paid the same. It didn't matter if I went or not. I'd always be paid. So this one particular day, this girl fell ill late in the afternoon, and I was just starting to learn all the show, and there was one particular scene that had a lot of complex choreography. Like there was a lot of synchronicity going on, and it was the beauty school dropout scene. I don't know if you know.
Yeah,
Chris.
I do.
Yeah, right. So, all the girls in the chorus have got like these wigs on with all curlers in it, and they've got these white gowns on. And this particular role I hadn't really looked into the way I should have. And so we get to that point of the show, and I had no idea who was who because everybody was dressed in white and everybody had rollers in their hair. There was smoke, there was light. It's, supposed to be like this dream sequence. And, I was just running into people. I basically looked like the drunken beauty school dropout teen angel. Just causing commotion and like literally locking people over like like a little kid in the first dancing concert.
Oh, that's funny. But you got through it.
I got through it. Yeah. I made a lot of unhappy friends in the next hour or so. But
so did you through the rest of that show, like through the time that you were there, did you get to go on many more times, or they just still would not get sick?
Yeah, no, I did end up. Yeah, it's kind of just it started to evolve where one person wasn't feeling well this day, so it evolved. I think I went on quite a bit in the end, but in the beginning, they were all revved up and I'm not going up stage in that full American mentality too. No way, I'm gonna do the show, man. So basically, I used to just sit around in the theatre and Yeah, just get up to mischief behind the scenes and
get paid.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to tell you more stories about that, but I really shouldn't. Yeah, so that's that one.
Yep.
And then I've got one last one. It's pretty funny. So one night, I think it was, I'm not sure if it was Frankie's Pizza's first birthday party, or I don't know. It was relatively in the earlier days when they're, you know, just getting off the ground and killing it. And so I was there, and it was, you know, packed house and bands playing, and it was all going off, and it was a lot of fun. And then I had a friend text me, and she's like, "Oh, are you inside?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm inside. She goes, "Oh, can you come and get me? I'm in the line outside and they won't let me in." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no worries. I'll come up and see what I can do." So I go up the stairs, and all of a sudden I just smell this hot, like it just stinks of marijuana. I just got so distracted, and I was just like, "Oh my God." And there's these three black guys, right, a bit further down the road, and they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, good, how are you?" "My God, that smells strong," and rah, 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 and, you know, and they're like, "Here, have some." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm like smoking away on this thing, and this guy's got like this really deep voice, like this really American voice, and I'm like, "Wow, your voice is amazing." I was like, "You should do some voiceover work." And he's like, "Oh, you think so?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you should really do it. Like, you know, your voice would be suited to, like, do you know Wolf Creek? Do you know the Australian film Wolf Creek?" And he's like, "No, man, no, I don't know that." I'm like, "Oh, man." And I'm rattling off all these films that he could do voiceovers for. And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then he goes, "So what do you do?" And I said, "Oh, I'm a singer." And he goes, "Oh, really?" And I said, yeah, I sing there at Frankie's quite a bit. You know, it's a great venue." And he goes, "Yeah, it's an awesome venue." Next minute, this chick comes up the road, and she's like, "Oh, my God," just like screaming at the top of her lungs, going, "Oh, my God, I love you," and starts running towards us. And I'm thinking, oh, who? Like, I thought, oh, someone's around that, I don't know. And she grabs me. And she hugs me, and she's like, "Oh, my God, you're the best singer. I love you." Like, I'm like, "Oh, wow, thanks, man. I'm stoned now. Just going, fuck." Okay. All right. Yep, cool. And this black guy's going, "Well, you must be all right then if you got people coming up the street." And, yeah, I'm like, I don't know now, you know. And then, so we're chatting away and, you know, having a laugh, and then I said, "Oh, shit, that's right. I forgot what I came out here for. I've got to get my friend." And he's like, "Oh, well, let's go back inside." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So we're hanging out, having a few drinks, and it was getting a bit late. And I just said, "Oh, look, I got to go. You know, I got a bit of stuff on tomorrow, so I'm going to get out of here." And they're like, "Oh, no worries, man. You know, see you later." Blah, blah, blah. I get home, and then I wake up the next morning and, you know, eventually get to my phone and look on Facebook, and there's Frankie's Pizza page with these three black guys that I was smoking with, and telling that, you know, he should do voiceover work. And they're like, you know, "It was great to have Cypress Hill in the house last night." I'm like, oh, no.
Oh.
I just smoked a joint with Cypress Hill and told him he should do voiceover work.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, you dick."
Oh, that's classic. That's classic.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
mate.
sorry, Mum, you hear that?
What's that?
I said, "Sorry, Mum, if you heard that one."
Oh, brilliant. Oh, man, these are awesome. That's great. You nailed it. Really good.
Cool.
showed the whole thing you never knew. You and I, we knew deep down that ain't really you. We always knew that it'd work out right and we could start anew. Not everyone's the same. Hearts in your name. So you never get anywhere. They don't care and it's just not fair that you know that I know better. They say you never get anywhere. They don't care and it's just not fair that you know that I know better. Well, things ain't always what they seem, so wake up, man, get out of your dreams. Things ain't always what they seem, so wake up. Things ain't always what they seem. Wake up, man. You're in my dreams. They say you never get anywhere. They don't care and it's just not fair that you know that I know better. They said you never get anywhere. They don't care and it's just not fair that you know that I know better. They said you never get anywhere. Well, they don't care and it's just not fair that you know that